Now let's get into the details about you, Reimi Sugimoto. Long ago, during the events of Diamond is Unbreakable, you were nothing more than a sad, pathetic little spirit crying for justice. You had been murdered by the now infamous Yoshikage Kira, stabbed right through your frail little back while saving a child. That child would grow up to become the pompous manga artist Rohan Kishbe. You haunted that alley for years, watching the souls of Kira's victims burn away in the sky. 15 years later you reunited with the pompous artist and the child man Koichi. You told them of the killer hiding in Morio. While you made them aware of a killer, ultimately it was the work of others that brought him down, while your pretty little rear stayed behind in that alley. In the real world, your killer wasn't even defeated by Josuke or Jotaro but by a damn ambulance tire. His soul was spawned in your alley where you got to confront him for the last time. You tried to lure him into looking over his shoulder, hoping the alley would swallow him whole. He saw through it. He took you hostage until your dog intervened and forced his head back. Even when you met Kira on even grounds, to where you could physically touch him, you still froze up. He was eventually grabbed by the hands of the alley and dragged back to Holden knows where. Then came your sappy little farewell with your friends before you floated off to the realm of the Sky Daddy. In the anime you appeared in a total of 3 episodes, with only 8 minutes of dialogue. That is your story in Araki's canon. Sounds to me like all you ever did was cry, beg, and let others do the dirty work. You're lucky Evan came along and gave you a more entertaining story in Pink Justice.
You're right about one thing, Judge Holden. Back in Diamond is Unbreakable I was helpless. I didn't have a stand, hamon, or anything I could use to fight back. As a spirit I was bound to that alley. It was either the alley or the afterlife where I'd have no chance to warn anyone. All I had was my will to help the living. As for why I didn't fight back in episode 39 when I got to meet Kira face to face, well, I wasn't a fighter. He had a stand that could vaporize my very soul, and I was a petite girl against a grown man. Arnold was my only hope. Now let's talk about you, Judge Holden. The most evil man ever written in fiction. For you to be considered more evil than Kira, Dio, Centerfold, Pucci, or Alessi is quite an accomplishment. In Blood Meridian, you committed atrocities too horrific to put to film. In your introduction, you falsely accused a preacher of sexually violating an 11-year-old girl and a goat, and you got him beaten half to death by his own audience. And then you laughed about it. You admitted afterwards you'd never even met the man. You led a gang of psychotic scalp hunters who were already drunk on blood money. Then you corrupted them further with drugs, liquor, and turned them into your personal cult. You've murdered your own allies. You hunted them, enslaved them, killed them one by one. You stopped the kid who spared your life, then murdered him cruelly for showing you mercy. You butchered villages of people who had never lifted a hand against you. You burned them and skinned them alive to make money off their scalps. Then you danced naked in their blood like some sort of satanic ritual. And you are a serial child molester of the worst degree. You were caught naked with terrified children numerous times. You claim whatever exists without your knowledge exists without your consent. You tell us that war is eternal, death is the purest truth. You treat love like heresy and life like some kind of mistake. You say you'll never die and you'll dance forever.
Now Pink Justice is quite the upgrade for you, Sugimoto. In this story you spent years in the alabaster prison they call heaven, mingling with the droves of fools. Then during a cosmic disturbance, you slipped back in time to the night of your own murder, while still retaining your memories. In a twist of fate, it was the predator Yoshikage Kira who became the prey and died in your house, while you and your parents cheated death itself. While in the paper sky, you received new toys, a ridiculous pink fairy you call a stand, and that monk's breath you call Hamon. You even vowed to prevent the deaths of other would-be martyrs such as Sherry Polnareff and Kakuin. Then you handed these parlor spirits to your friends and family like candy. You're framed as the heroine who conquered death, the savior of your glittering little universe. You flew to France to rescue Sherry from Centerfold, a man who, by your own admission, reminds you of me. Then you journeyed to Chernobyl and murdered a deputy chief engineer, saving the city from its own hubris. You show outrage over my history with children, yet you spoil young Rohan with hugs and kisses for quote being cute, when he is scarcely 9 years old. You used to stand a greater self in your friends the Aphrodite upgrade, one that left your skin hairless as porcelain, much like myself, though a doll such as you would never surrender the pink hair upon her head. You wield your stand-off screen to raise the dead, cheating the Reaper and defying the natural order. You heal wounds as if you were Christ reborn. Then comes the events of Stardust Crusaders, where you lead your own gang of paranormal scalp hunters across the continent in pursuit of Lord Dio's scalp, using your parlor spirit as damage control. You have numerous nude scenes in Pink Justice in full detail, thanks to that horny pervert behind the keyboard. Like me, you seem to enjoy being naked and not caring who among your male friends happens to see.
Yes, I am a proud nudist and I enjoy spreading happiness. During my time in the Haunted Alley and the Realm of Heaven, I no longer cared about petty things like the shame of nudity. If my male friends find joy or comfort in seeing me naked, then fine, let them smile. While we both have nude scenes, yours represents perversion and savagery while mine represents fan service and beauty. As for your moral deflections, let me analyze things. I use my stand to lay the groundwork for a greater world, saving lives, sharing power with my friends and family so they can pay it forward. Every stand I awaken unlocks new possibilities, from medical miracles to everyday convenience. My goal is to create heaven on earth, which I know is an inconvenience to sadistic creatures like you, and the minions of Dio. Comparing my hugs and kisses with Rohan to the unspeakable things you did to those children is insane. My hugs and kisses with him are innocent, impulsive, yes, but affectionate. Rohan has a crush on me and enjoys it. We both get a hit of oxytocin from it. But hugs and kisses is where it ends. I would never cross the sexual line with anyone under 18, and you know it. You twist love into filth because you've never understood what real affection even feels like. And while Rohan loves my affection, every kid you've ever hurt would choose the Black Plague over your sexual abuse. You ultimately fail to defend your atrocities in any direct, meaningful way. You've betrayed allies, killed innocent civilians who never held a hand to you, kill for fun, destroy the world around you, and act like you're some kind of philosopher.
Heaven on earth, you say? A fine phrase for a hopeful fool. The same promise whispered by Jim Jones and every other religious quack before the fire came. You think you build a paradise, child, but all paradises are accidents waiting to happen. You speak of freedom in flesh, yet call it purity. You call it beauty when men look upon you with hunger. Do you not see? Even your peace depends upon appetite. Your father soaked his hands in Kira's blood as he tried to escape, so your own hands are not so clean. You heal wounds, share power, raise the dead, and you name this mercy. I violate the flesh of the living, but you violate the boundaries of time and space. The death of your parents, and of yourself, was a canon event in Araki's universe. You, a lowly mortal, have committed an act so egregious it would be taboo even for the gods. You defied time itself by stopping Kira from murdering your family and making him die in your place. Your travel through time is the proof of moral arrogance, and the reason your kind is unworthy of life. Even your haunting of that alley was your very soul defying the laws of life and death. You accuse me of twisting love, yet love itself is the twist, the knot that binds desire to suffering. You call me monster, murderer, philosopher. I am only witness. I keep the tally while dreamers like you write over the ledger in rose-colored ink. Build your heaven here, Reimi Sugimoto. Raise your dead, heal your wounded, spread your gospel of harmony and friendship. When your paradise cracks, as all paradises do, I'll be there, dancing in the rubble, to remind you that the dance never ends. So long as there is violence, strife, and decay in your world, I will live on.
You know what your philosophy forgets, Holden? Even the worst tyrants and warlords in history used cruelty to get somewhere. They waged their wars, burned cities, enslaved civilians, and tortured dissenters, all because they dreamed of building a perfect world in their own image. They still wanted a silky bed to sleep in, women to love, children to inherit their name. Many of them even loved cute animals. They waged wars so they could come home to something. They built palaces, gardens, and monuments out of the blood they spilled, because even they knew the point of war was to end it. You talk about violence like it's sacred, but no monarch ever built a flower garden out of ashes. Every warlord, every conqueror, every despot, they all dreamed of a garden that would grow after the storm. They never worshipped the war itself, not entirely. You're the only one who truly worships the bloodstorm itself and cries when it's over. They used your violence to achieve the spoils of war. You need war because you have nothing left to build. You call yourself eternal, but even the worst men in history used your kind of violence as a stepping stone, not a destination. You say you'll exist so long as cruelty, violence, and decay endure? You wish to extinguish life, yet violence cannot exist without life. Destruction cannot exist without something to destroy. But go ahead, be the dancing king of the ashes. But know this, Judge Holden, you also face an inevitable force, and I too will never die. Wherever there is kindness, love, mercy, redemption, or the simple pursuit of happiness, my spirit will live on and haunt you until the end of time.